In Brawl, a brand new character was introduced that was very unique for Smash. In the past, they created characters that could transform from one to another. Pokemon Trainer is this concept expanded with some new layers of experimentation. Instead of there just being two characters like Zelda or Sheik, now there's three, being Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard, representing all three of Generation 1 starter Pokemon. And don't get me wrong, the idea was ambitious and cool. I mean, who doesn't like Charizard in Smash? But the concept as far as viability is definitely the exact opposite. Each Pokemon was designed to have its own strengths and weaknesses. Squirtle was designed to be the speedy, small, and nimble one. Ivysaur is supposed to be defined by his projectiles and range. Charizard is the hard-hitting but slow Pokemon, and each Pokemon is meant to cover each other's strengths and weaknesses. They even ported over the elemental weaknesses from Pokemon to the actual movesets of these three characters, like Charizard being weak to water attacks, Ivysaur being weak to fire, but the biggest wrench to their entire moveset is something that I bet even casual players might not remember, as it was hard programmed in Pokemon Trainer's moveset: stamina. Easily one of the worst mechanics designed for any character in all of Brawl. That might sound like I'm over-exaggerating, but even Sakurai must have agreed, as this mechanic did not get ported over to Smash Ultimate. Stamina was meant to balance Pokemon Trainer and encourage the player to switch between Pokemon during the match. The stamina mechanic makes the Pokemon that you're currently using lose knockback the longer they're using the match. To circumvent the issue, you have to either switch, or if you try to ignore the fatigue, the Pokemon will get weaker and weaker and its damage output will continue to drop over time. To replenish a full bar of stamina, it takes 2 full minutes, which in my opinion is way too long. This leads to you gradually just losing power over time, and so essentially you're going to have to switch Pokemon in any given situation, sometimes even if you don't want to. The swap mechanic is way too slow, so even if you want to swap characters mid-match, it can lead to you getting punished once the next Pokemon comes in. I think this is also a huge flaw, as this ruins the point of Pokemon Trainer being able to swap the characters. Ivysaur on their own is a terrible character. Pokemon Trainer is in the E tier in Brawl, so you actually want to thank Charizard and Squirtle for that. While neither one of them is really that much better, it goes to show how bad Ivysaur is. Ivysaur's air game, recovery, damage output are all atrocious. Their recovery is one of the worst recoveries in all of Brawl, as Ivy's tether recovery is just not good. Here's Bullet Seed, for example. This is one of the worst moves in all of Brawl. It definitely makes my top 10 worst special moves in the game, as this move actually does 30 damage when the Bullet Seed hits. However, the hitbox is so tiny. It's extremely risky to input. If you input neutral B, it leaves Ivysaur in a significant amount of end lag. Ivysaur is supposed to be a projectile-defined zoner, but his only zoning tool is way too slow and it isn't even that useful. Sorry, Side B. Plenty of Ivysaur's moves do laughable amounts of damage, like back air or nair. Not only that, but as I stated earlier, because the elemental strengths and weaknesses are a part of Pokemon Trainer, that means Ivysaur is weak to fire attacks. Yes, fire attacks, one of the most common attacks you'll see in Smash. If you want to see some really funny examples, Luigi's up special can KO Ivysaur as early as 40%. That is super early. Snake can KO Ivysaur with a fully charged forward smash at 10%. Go for a Falcon Punch if you really want to, it's actually viable in this matchup. Fire attacks are really common in Smash, so this means some matchups are just going to be significantly worse than they would have been if this mechanic wasn't in the game. Ivysaur does have some positives, like their grab. Forward air and dash attack are strong KO tools. In fact, I feel like the whole point of the character is not being met in this version of the game. Ivysaur's projectiles are supposed to be their strength, except they're just not. It's commonly speculated if Ivy was by themselves in Brawl as their own character, Ivysaur would actually be the worst character in the game. Because Pokemon Trainer wasn't in Smash 4, they didn't get the justice they fully deserved until Smash Ultimate, where they actually balanced the character way better and made Pokemon Trainer actually viable in that game. However, as far as Ivysaur goes, Ivysaur's character was finally done justice in Project M. Ivysaur in PM and P+ is a rather honest character, so stay tuned if you want to see why. First, right off the bat, let's get this out the way. Pokemon Trainer is completely gone. The main mechanic behind Pokemon Trainer is Thanos snapped out of PM. Now there's a reason for this. This isn't Smash Ultimate where Pokemon Trainer was ultimately, pun intended, given a slew of buffs. In Brawl, it was the only version of the character, and many people felt that Pokemon Trainer's flaws were holding down the potential of each Pokemon individually. So similar to Zelda and Sheik getting separate spots on Project M's roster, the Pokemon Trainer's Pokemon now all have separate character slots on the roster. The only difference is now Down B is freed up, as you can no longer switch between each Pokemon, meaning also the stamina mechanic is completely gone in Project M. Since now each Pokemon is their own separate character, they've all been balanced accordingly. First off, Ivysaur was awful in Brawl. Pokemon Trainer as a character was not fleshed out as he should have been. The stamina mechanic was weighing all three of the Pokemon down. The elemental mechanic, it was also completely removed in Project M, so fire type moves do not do more damage on Ivysaur anymore. Plenty half-baked moves were completely removed in Project M, like for example his terrible neutral B, and down special is now completely replaced since it's now a free slot now. You'll notice Ivysaur's bulb now glows, and this is for a couple of reasons. If you hit opponents with any of Ivysaur's bulb attacks, they will heal Ivysaur slightly. Not only that, but if you hit the opponent with the bulb moves, it'll actually charge Ivysaur's super move mechanic. If you hold down neutral B, you'll notice that it heals Ivysaur for every second it's held down, and the longer you hold it down, you'll continue to charge his solar beam. Once the bulb is fully charged, or once 22 health is gained, Ivysaur will start glowing and you'll have access to their strongest move. It's a combo ender, it goes through stages, it hits like a truck. Once the move is used, it will put Ivysaur in a helpless state, but I can't lie, this move is completely hype. This is like hitting a Falcon Punch, but for Ivysaur, it's devastating. It's a perfect way to represent the iconic grass type move from the Pokemon series. And I must say, this move is completely unique and it fits Ivysaur's balance and character archetype very well. I personally love the Solar Beam edition. Straight up, it's perfect. A little icing on the cake for this move, if you're a really high level Ivysaur player, Neutral B actually has a wind hitbox. I've seen very niche situations where it's even used as an edge guarding tool. It's kind of funny if you ask me. For those who might be thinking though, hold up, Ivysaur has a move that can literally heal himself? Isn't this going to be broken? Despite the concept of a healing character in Smash being very fresh, this is actually not busted. Yes, Ivysaur gets a huge reward for holding down neutral B, but it leaves Ivysaur vulnerable to getting punished. So if you can fit in some healing in the heat of a match, that's the purpose of the move. It's not broken despite the idea being super unique. I'm pretty sure this is also the very first self-healing move without needing an opponent, of course, in Smash, so it's actually pretty cool. Down Special was replaced by Seed Bomb. Down Special being free means Ivysaur gets a completely brand new move. Seed Bomb shoots a seed high in the air and the move can be angled. It can extend aerial combos in the air and you can snipe people near the top blast zone, and this move can take them out. If the seed hits the ground, it will actually stun opponents that are near it, and it can trap the opponent and leave them vulnerable to a conversion. Ivysaur still has the same up special, except the highest point of the vine is still a KO tool, so this is actually a great tool out of down throw, for example. I actually used to use Ivysaur as a pocket character back during Project M 2.6, and one of the most interesting changes was to side special. The move is balanced in a way where you can only use one Razor Leaf at a time, so you have to wait until the first one disappears to use the next one. If you try and spam the move, it actually won't work, so using this projectile requires more skill and it shouldn't be used recklessly, which I find a little ironic because when Pokemon Trainer and Ivysaur returned in Smash Ultimate, this move can be spammed for days, and you could maybe even argue that the Ultimate version is better than the PM version. Just look how fast it is. Ivysaur's normals were significantly buffed from Brawl. Jab is a great move. Even the second hit of Jab is pretty strong now. You're going to see a lot of Jab into Grab because Ivysaur's grab speed is significantly faster too. His tilts are super rewarding. Forward tilt is a multi-hit. It's sort of a get off me tool. Up tilt is a combo move. You can easily link up smash into this move. Down tilt is a combo starter. Ivysaur shoots out long vines that can actually be great as an anti-crouch cancel tool. You're going to use this move a lot as Ivysaur as it opens up their combo game like an avocado. Yes, I compared Ivysaur's down tilt to a food. Doesn't even make sense, I know, but you should subscribe for it. Dash attack is somewhat risky when used recklessly, but you can actually extend combos with it. Ivysaur's aerials have plenty more range and actually can KO way earlier than they did back in Brawl. The best example of this is back air, as some people call Ivysaur back air the character. That's how good this move is now, as it KOs way easier. This is a great spacing tool, and it's also good for Ivysaur's neutral because it has a huge speed buff It's very similar to Donkey Kong's back air as far as usage goes. The second hit even has a semi-spike angle, so its offstage usage is really good. Up air has a sweet spot, it can KO really early, and this move is great at racking up solar beam charge. It shoots Ivysaur downward, and you can even use this as a tool to get back on stage quickly, sort of like a dive kick in a way. So essentially you can combo with this move at low percents and even as a KO tool at higher percents. Nair now is way faster. This move comes out very quickly, so you can use this move to escape out of combos. Forward air is a spacing tool. It's not necessarily a KO tool like it was in Brawl. Down air is also super rewarding if you hit the bulb hitbox. It's ridiculously strong off stage as this move has a meteor smash hitbox. This move even stalls Ivysaur's movement in the air, so that means this move is a recovery tool too. Ivysaur's smash attacks are faster and they're much more aggressive, like down smash being kind of similar to a Sheik down smash as far as it's good at shutting down approaches. The move even has a semi-spike hitbox, so you can edge guard with it. Forward smash can be angled, it does have plenty of knockback and has a comparable amount of range as Ivysaur lunges forward. However, it does have a lot of end lag, so use this forward smash at your own risk. The most rewarding smash attack is easily up smash. This move is super powerful, and when sweet spotted, the bulb hitbox can KO super early. It heals a lot of percent for Ivysaur too, being 9%. Ivysaur's throws are beneficial for their combo game, especially up throw and down throw. Even at low percents, depending on the character's weight, you can tech chase with them too. Back throw is now a KO throw. Forward throw is a little gimmicky. 3 of Ivysaur's 4 throws are good, so sorry forward throw, it's not you. And even the grab input is way faster, and if you pummel now, it allows Ivysaur to gain percent. It has slightly less range than the Brawl version, but it's still buffed across the board in speed, so I would say it's a fair trade. Ivysaur in Project M is a very well-rounded character with strong grabs, KO tools, a healing mechanic, a risky but highly rewarding moveset. And all that combined, Ivysaur has a solar beam attack. They're leagues better than the Brawl version. Not only competitively, I mean that's no question, but the Brawl version was a very low bar to beat. But even just stylistically and on a casual level, I think people will generally like Ivysaur a lot more in Project M. Earlier in the video I mentioned how Ivysaur is an honest character. Despite being way better than the Brawl version, they still have weaknesses. Ivysaur actually dies earlier in Project M than the Brawl version, getting a weight nerf from 100 to 85. And the fact Ivysaur is floaty means Ivysaur is going to be bait for combos like from characters like Marth or Sheik, for example, characters that are good at comboing floaties. Despite these weaknesses, some people have still worked to push the character in top levels of play, and Ivysaur has actually won a fair bit of large tournaments because of their strengths. Ivysaur even has a great wave dash and dash dance, as they're very decent, very Marth-esque in movement on stage. Within Project M's meta, Ivysaur was stated as a very underrated mid-tier character at the C tier, but as the years have gone by, Ivysaur has earned a spot in the meta, rising to the A tier. A very solid character that can be deadly in the right hands. Thank you guys for watching the video on Ivysaur, one of my favorite characters in Project M. If you guys like the content, there's early content on Patreon always every week. Also, there is some unreleased content that is only on Metafy, so check that out as well. If you guys want a video on Little Mac or a video on Smash Ultimate's tier list, there is 30 minutes of material on Metafy, so check that out.